Hello everyone, welcome to this video series on time, speed and distance. So we are into fourth session and today we'll see concepts on relative speed, and as a first part we will see the concepts based on trains under relative speed. So what is a relative speed or a relative motion? The speed of a one moving body in relation to another moving body is called a relative motion or a relative speed of these two bodies. So this is a definition. This is how the definition goes. Let us try to understand what the relative motion or relative speed actually means. So suppose there is a person standing here on a ground, right? And a car is passing by. A car is passing by with a velocity v. So what would happen? This is at set time t is equal to 0, and let us say v is equal to 60 kilometer per hour. So basically what happens at say this present time, current time, a man is standing on the ground and a car is passing by at a speed of 60 kilometer per hour. What will happen after 1 hour? That is at t is equal to 1 hour. What will happen? The man will stay here only because he is standing, just standing, not moving. Whereas the car will come at this place, which is nothing but at a distance of 60 kilometer. Right? We can say so because in 1 hour, this car will cover a distance of 60 kilometer and reach here at 1. So now, what happens? In 1 hour, the distance between man and the car new position becomes 60 kilometer. So basically, if we can say the distance say at time t is equal to 0, t is equal to 1, t is equal to 2, t is equal to 3, and so on. And here we will write the distance between man and car. At time t is equal to 0, both are at same place, so distance is 0. At time t is equal to 1, the distance is what? At t is equal to 1, car will cover 60 kilometer, whereas the man stays here only. So distance is 60 here. In at time t is equal to 2, that is in 2 hours, the car will cover a distance of 120 kilometer, whereas the man stays here only. So the difference between the two is nothing but 120 minus 0, which is 120. Similarly, at t is equal to 3, it is 180 kilometer, right? So uh, now we'll leave it here. Now we'll try to understand another scenario where uh, there is a man who is actually riding a bike, right? Who is riding a bike, and bike is moving at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour. 40 kilometer per hour. And now there is a car also parallelly. This is a car which is going by a speed of 60 kilometer per hour. 60 kilometer per hour. So what will happen? At t is equal to 0, both are at this place, same place. Now at t is equal to 1 hour, what happens? At t is equal to 1 hour, man would be somewhere here at a distance of 40 kilometer from here. This distance for in 1 hour, the man will cover 40 kilometer, whereas in 1 hour, car will cover 60 kilometer, and let's say car reaches here. So this is car, and this distance becomes 60 kilometer in 1 hour. So now what happens at end of 1 hour, that is in 1 hour, what is the difference between the distance between the new position of man and new position of car? That is, this is the new position of car, and this is, sorry, new position of bike, man on the bike, and new position of car is say this one, right? So this distance is nothing but, I mean, from here it is 60 kilometer, and from here this is 40 kilometer. So distance between the man on the bike and the car is nothing but 60 minus 40, which is 20 kilometer, right? So if we can now generalize this, what will happen? If we can generalize this again, that at t is equal to 0, let us say position of man and position of car. So t is equal to 0, 0, both are at same place. Let us say at 0, 0. At t is equal to 1, he will be at 40 kilometer distance, he will be 60 kilometer distance from the starting point. At t is equal to 2, he will be at 80 kilometer, he will be at what, 120 kilometer. And at t is equal to 3, he will be at 120 kilometer, and he will be at 180 kilometer position from the origin. Let this be 0 position, right? Distance is equal to 0 here. So what is the distance between PC minus PM? That is the distance between car and the man on the bike at any point of time, right? The distance between car and the man on the bike at any point of time, that is the distance of car in relation to the man, or distance of car with respect to man, right? I'm writing here P, we can write D also, anything. So here the difference is 0. Here car is 20 kilometer ahead of bike. At t is equal to 2 hour, car is 40 kilometer ahead of bike. At time t is equal to 3, car is 60 kilometer ahead of bike, right? So now from here we will try to understand. Let us see. Now we have to find what is the relative speed. So for relative speed, what I will do now, with these two scenarios in mind, I now define relative speed. So relative speed is nothing but a relative distance, relative distance between two objects, between two moving object, between two moving object upon the time, right? This is the definition of relative speed. So now see here, what is it here? In 1 hour, the relative speed of car with respect to bike is 20 kilometer. So can we say relative speed here? I mean, let us see, let this speed be relative speed here. So at time t is equal to 1, the relative speed is in 1 hour, the car is at a distance of 20 kilometer from bike. So it is nothing but 20 by 1, which is 20. In 2 hours, car is 40 kilometer ahead of bike. That is, with respect to bike, car is 40 kilometer ahead. So it is 40 upon 2, that is again 20 kilometer per hour. Then at time t is equal to 3, so after 3 hours, basically car is 60 kilometer ahead of bike. That is, car, this distance of position of car with respect to bike is nothing but 60 kilometer in 3 hours. So relative speed will be 60 by 3, which is again 20. We see that relative speed is same here, right? Relative speed is same here. If we see the relative speed here, right, and relative speed I denote as, say, velocity of car with respect to man, and here also velocity of car with respect to man. Here it's 0 only. After 1 hour it is 60. After 2 hour again it is 60. After 3 hour again what, 180 by 3 is 60. After 2 hour 120 by 2 is 60. So it is same here, right? So now in the first case, in this case, let this be case 1 and let this be case 2. In case 1, the relative speed is 60 km per hour. In case 2, the relative speed is 20 km per hour. Why? That difference only came because in the first case the man was standstill, whereas in the second case the man was also moving at a speed of 40 km per hour. So this was the concept. I mean, what is the meaning of relative speed? What do we understand by relative speed? That means that at what rate the distance between the two moving object is changing per unit time. That is a relative speed, right? Now, to find relative speed, we need not do all this story. It's a very simple. So that we will see in the next slide. So now, if two bodies are moving in same direction, so as we saw that here, bike was moving at 40 kilometer per hour in this direction, and car was moving in at 60 kilometer per hour in the same direction. So the relative speed of car with respect to bike is nothing but, I mean, there in we saw that it was 20 kilometer with the basic we got to understand. But here we not I mean, that was just the story was just for the sake of explanation. It's a very simple. The relative speed of car with respect to bike will be nothing but velocity of car minus velocity of bike. So here velocity of car is 60 kilometer and bike is 40 kilometer, and that is 20 kilometer per hour, right? And this is same as what we had got here, right? What we had got here, what we had got here. So this is exactly same as what we obtained here. Similarly, in the case one, bike or the man was standing, so speed was 0, car was moving at 60 kilometer per hour. So we can say that velocity of car with respect to man is nothing but 60 minus 0, which is 60 kilometer per hour. So therefore, the relative speed when the two objects are moving in same direction, the relative speed is nothing but the difference of the two speeds. That is the difference of the two speeds. Now, when the two bodies are moving in opposite direction, let us see what happens. Again, we try to build a explanation short in short, and then we'll come at the. So let us see what happens here. There are two bodies. Say here, bike is standing, and bike is going in this direction at 40 kilometer per hour. And at the same time, car is moving in this direction. That this be car, and this is moving at a 60 kilometer per hour. So what will happen after 1 hour at t is equal to 1 hour? What happens? Bike will be 40 kilometer. I mean, let this be origin. So from origin, this will be here 40 kilometer after 1 hour, and car will be minus 60 kilometer here. If this is 0 position, so bike will be 40 kilometer towards right. This is bike, and this is car. So what is the net distance between the car and the bike? That distance is nothing but minus 60 to 0 is 60 kilometer, and 0 to 40 is 40 kilometer. That becomes 100 kilometer, right? So basically now here it shows that when the both are moving in opposite direction, the car is basically 100 kilometer ahead of bike, right? So basically that relative speed velocity of car with respect to bike becomes 100 kilometer over 1 hour, so that becomes 100 kilometer per hour, right? So now again, so here is what velocity of bike is 40 kilometer per hour, and velocity of car is in opposite direction. That is, if bike is going this way, car is going this way, so that will represent by minus 60 if it is in opposite direction, right? So here in this case, what will happen, the velocity of car with respect to bike will be nothing but addition of two speeds, addition of two speeds. That is, either we will write 40 minus of minus 60, right? Let us represent this by 60 and this by minus 40. It's not going to make a difference as far as our cases of relative motion is concerned. I mean, in physics, this makes a difference. Direction becomes important. Otherwise, in mathematics, it has a very less importance. I mean, we can take any direction as positive. So here, velocity of car with respect to bike becomes 60 minus of minus 40. So that becomes 100 kilometer. So that is one, and this 100 is nothing but 60 plus 40, and that is what I have written here. The relative speed is equal to the sum of the speeds of the two. So when we know the two objects are moving in opposite direction, we simply need to add the speeds of the two objects, and thereby we get the speed of relative speed of one object, that is car with respect to bike. This is relative velocity of car with respect to bike, and this is 100 km per hour. So this was the basic understanding behind the concept of relative motion. With this in background, now we will move towards solving questions. We'll start with a few basic to moderate level, and then gradually we'll increase the difficulty level. Now see, so question number 1 reads that P and Q are two stations 1020 km apart. A train starts from P and moves toward Q and at the rate of 60 km per hour. After 2 hours, another train starts from Q at the rate of 90 km per hour. How far from P will they cross each other? Now let us see. Here it is said that there are two railway stations, P and Q. From P, a train starts, let be it T1 train, and that starts at a time that is at a 60 kilometer per hour. So velocity of one is 60 kilometer, and let us see that it starts at time t is equal to either 0, or we can assume any time. Let us say at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Let us start that the train starts from P at 9 a.m. Now what is given at T2, another train starts towards P at a speed of 90 kilometer per hour, and this train starts 2 hours after the starting time of train T1. So here T2 will be T2 is at 11 a.m. Right. So how to solve this question of this nature? So before moving to this pattern, let us take another simpler case, and then we will build a case and come to the this solution. So now let us again the same case, P and Q, two stations, a train T1 moving in this direction, V1 is equal to 60 kilometer per hour, and a train T2 moving in opposite direction, that is towards P, at a speed of 90 kilometer per hour. And let us assume that both the trains start at the same time, that is T1 is equal to 9 a.m. Let us say both starts simultaneously at 9 a.m. from P and Q towards each other, right? So this is a classical case of relative motion. Both the trains are starting at same time. They will be covering a distance of 1020 kilometer. So what we learned? We learned that when the two objects are moving in opposite direction, the relative speed, that is velocity of T1 with respect to train 2, will be nothing but the addition of the two, 60 plus 90, that is become 150 kilometer per hour, and distance is nothing but 1020 kilometer. So time will be what? Time will be distance upon velocity, 1020 kilometer upon velocity is 150, right? 150 kilometer per hour. So from here we can say that this becomes 34 by 5 hours, that is 6.8 hours after 9 o'clock. So that means at t is equal to 3:48 p.m. they will meet each other. So had the problem been that both the trains start simultaneously, we would have approached the question of this in this fashion. Now see what we are doing here. We simply took the distance as 1020 and then divided by the relative velocity. And when we say relative velocity, no, it means that see, there's another way to look at it. In relative velocity, it means that if I am saying that relative velocity is 150 kilometer per hour, that is train P is moving towards Q at 150 kilometer per hour. It means that if train Q was stopped, now see, currently P is moving at 60 kilometer per hour and Q at 90 kilometer per hour in opposite direction. Now relative velocity of 150 means that if Q was stopped, was standing, was stand still, then P would be moving at 150 kilometer per hour, so that the distance of 1020 is covered in this much time. That is another way of looking at a relative motion. Now, but the actual question, the timing of the start of the two train is not simultaneous. So what happens? Now see, if we look at time T1 is equal to 9 a.m., the train is this train T1 is moving at 60 km per hour, whereas T2 is standstill. At that point of time, it's not moving. So relative speed becomes 60 plus 0, that is 60 km per hour. Whereas at time t is equal to 11 am, we see that this train is moving, V1 is moving at 60 and V2 is moving at 90. So relative speed becomes 150 km per hour. So there are two relative speeds here. So for that reason, what we will do, we will try to first find the position of train T1 at 11 am. So by 11 am, the train T1 would have covered what? 120 kilometer at 60 kilometer per hour speed, 2 hours at 11 am. Here now train T1 would have reached, that is 1 20 kilometer after P, and this distance is total distance is 1020 kilometer. So let us say that at 11 a.m. T1 reach at point M. So at 11 a.m. T1 reaches point M, which is 120 kilometer from P, right? So now at 11 a.m. what happens? Both the trains are in motion. One is moving, and both are moving in opposite direction at a speed of 60 and 90 kilometer per hour respectively. So now we can say that relative speed of one train with respect to another train is nothing but 60 plus 90 at 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. we can say so, and that becomes 150 kilometer per hour. And what is the distance to be covered after 11 hour, after 11 am? That is distance, remaining distance is 1020 minus 120. I'm solving this in very basic way so that the concept gets through in your mind. Otherwise these are just second long questions, nothing is, hardly in few seconds this can be solved. So this is the distance to be covered in 900 kilometer. The relative speed is 150 kilometer per hour. So the time taken will be nothing but that is 900 upon 150, which is 6 hours, right? 6 hours. That is 6 after 6 hours that is mean. So basically what happens? That is after 6 hours after 11 am. So in 6, so basically P would have run for, sorry, T1 train, T1 would have run for, initially it had run for 2 hours and then another 6 hours before meeting, that is 8 hours before meeting T2, right? So let the meeting point be somewhere here, let that be R. So here we can say now that T1 has moved for 8 hours before meeting, right? So that means distance covered by T1 in 8 hours is nothing but what? At a speed of 60 kilometer per hour into 8 hours, that is 480 kilometers from P. And that is what the question is. How far from P will they cross each other? So from P, 40 kilometers, they will, after 480 kilometers from P, the two trains will meet each other. So I think the question, the fundamental behind the relative motion is clear enough. Now we will move and take various examples. I will try to be a bit faster, right? Because I believe we have seen much of our basic concepts. So now see, this question is another important one. It says that a train driving in a fog passes a pedestrian who was walking at the rate of 6 km per hour in the same direction. The pedestrian could see the rear end of the train for 3 minutes and it was visible to him up to a distance of 2 km. What was the speed of the train if the train was 400 meters long? So now see, for trains, I just cover a bit of a basics here. See what happens. Now let us see that there are two trains. This is train T1, right, of length N1, and another train, say T2, of length N2. And now they are, T1 is moving in this direction and T2 is moving in, say, this direction. So what happens? And both are trying to cross each other. So when the, and this is the front end of T1 and this is the front end of T2. So when the cross happen, when the rear end will cross the rear end of this one. So that means that when T1 and T2 gets a position like this, then it is called a cross. Like train has crossed each other. Two trains have crossed each other. So what is the distance moved by the train, right? So let us suppose, I mean, what happens? Let us see from here. If we see that, if this is the position from here, what happens? First, the train, the front end will reach here, right? Front end will reach here, and then for the rear end to reach here, so when rear end will reach here, the front end will be something here for the train T1. So how much distance has the train covered? So when we say distance of a train, we can take anything, either the rear end or the front end or any point of the train. So let us suppose the rear end was here for the train T1. Now first it moved N1 distance to reach here. Then after N1 it covered N2, right, to reach here. And then the cross is over. So that is when the trains cross each other, effectively they cover a distance of N1 plus N2, that is the summation of the two lengths, right? Summation of the two lengths. Similarly, if they are moving in same direction also, if they are moving in same direction also, if they, this is N1, this is a faster moving train, and suppose this is N2, slower moving train. So when the cross successfully happen, when the rear end of N1 crosses the front end of N2, right? So distance covered by N1 would be nothing but, distance covered by N1 would be nothing but what? First N1 will reach here. I mean, if we see with respect to rear end, so rear end was here initially, then it will come here, and then when it comes here, then it is told that with respect to N2, then it is said that it has crossed N2. So therefore, basically with respect to N2, they will cover a distance of N1 plus N2. So in this case also N1 plus N2. That is when both are moving in same direction, and here opposite direction. In both the cases, opposite direction. So when in both the cases, when the trains cross each other, either in same direction or opposite direction, the relative distance covered by them is nothing but N1 plus N2. That is what we have seen here. Now this question actually says a train driving in a fog passes a pedestrian. Here I mean a train is passing a pedestrian. So who was walking at a rate of 6 kilometer per hour in the same direction, that is in the direction of train. The pedestrian could see the rear end of the train for 3 minutes and it was visible to him up to a distance of 2 kilometers. What was the speed of the train if the train was 400 meters long? So now first see. So let us see, this man is going in this direction at 6 kilometers per hour and a train has come here, right? A train moving in this direction has come at this position. Now after the train passes, so when will that crossing happen? The crossing will happen when the rear end of the train crosses the man, right? This is the crossing. Now at this position, the rear end of the train is at the same position where the man is, right? But after 3 minutes, it is said that after 3 minutes, this is at say at time t is equal to 0, at time t is equal to 3 minutes, the rear end of the train, the rear end of the train, let us be here, this is the train, this is the front end, this is the rear end. So now the rear end with respect to man position, with respect to man, is nothing but what? That distance is given as 2 kilometer. That is what is saying. No? The pedestrian could see the rear end of the train for 3 minutes and it was visible to him up to a distance of 2 kilometer. That is after 3 minutes at time t is equal to 3, with respect to man, this train's rear end is 2 kilometer, right? So basically, this is again a classic question of relative motion. So in relative motion, what is the most velocity of so let us say velocity of train be vt. So therefore, relative velocity of train with respect to man will be what? Vt minus 6, right? We can say so. Moving in same direction, so it will be Vt minus 6. So now when we are saying relative motion, so that it means that train is now moving at a speed of Vt minus 6. So when we are saying that train is now moving at a speed of Vt minus 6, then we can assume that man is standing silently, stand still, and train is moving at a speed of Vt minus 6. So now we can say that speed is Vt minus 6, time is 3 minutes, and distance is, that is a relative distance, that is a 2 kilometer. So we can use the formula distance is equal to Vt minus 6 into time. Time is 3 minutes. Now speed is in kilometer per hour, 6 is in kilometer per hour. So we can convert 3 minutes to kilometer, hour, 3 by 60. So from here we can say that Vt is nothing but 46 kilometer per hour. So that is the answer to this question, right? So now I hope the concept is clear. What is it? For 3 minutes, in 3 minutes with respect to man, the train is 2 kilometer ahead. That is a simple thing with respect to man. So with respect to man, what is the speed of the train? That is Vt minus 6. In time 3 minutes, distance is 2 kilometer. So therefore we can calculate Vt. Now a train crosses two persons who are walking at a 4 kilometer per hour and 6 kilometer per hour in the same direction in which the train is going in 20 and 21 seconds respectively. Find the length of the train. So now let us see. If this person is moving at 4 kilometer per hour and a train is here, train of length n suppose. So now when will the train be set to cross the man? When the rear end of the train is at the position of the is at the same position where the man is, right? Then it is said to be have crossed the man. So what is the distance covered by train? So with respect to man, if we make the man stand still, so basically if we see one point of a train, let us assume this rear end. So if rear end was here, when the rear end comes here, then the crossing will happen. So that is nothing but a distance of n, right? So distance, relative distance is nothing but n. In the first case, what is the speed? Velocity of speed train with respect to man 1 is nothing but v minus 6, and time here is 20 seconds. Now in second case, when man is moving at 6 kilometer per hour, what is same to cover to cross the man moving at 6 kilometer per hour, the relative distance will be nothing but n. Relative velocity will be velocity of train with respect to man 2 is nothing but v minus 6. Achha, here it will be v minus 4, and here time is 21 seconds, right? We should be careful of the units. Here 4 is in kilometer, it is in second. So what we can write here, that n is equal to, length is equal to time into speed, that is v minus 4 into 20 by 3600 to convert this to hour. And here also we can say same distance, L is equal to v minus 6 into 21 upon 3600. See, these questions can be done very easily just for the basic clarity concept clarity purpose. I am solving it in very minutest of the steps. So here we can now take the ratio of both the n and s same. So we can say that v minus 4 upon v minus 6 is nothing but 20 by 21. So from here we can say that v is equal to 46 kilometer per hour, right? We can see that 120 and 84. So 16 plus 26, right? This is rather this will be opposite, I think. 21 by 20. So now it will be 80 and 126. So 46 kilometer per hour. Velocity is 46 kilometer per hour. So we have to find the length of the train. So length of the train is what? Length L, we can use any equation, that is v minus 4. So 46 minus 4 into 20 by 36. This is in kilometer, multiply by 1000 to get it into meter. If we solve this, we get this as let us solve this. This will be 42 into 20, and this term will become 5 by 18. So this becomes 35,700. So 42 into 20 by 18, right? So let us solve this. This becomes 100, 700 by 3. That is 3 2 ja 6, 1, 3 3 ja 3 3 ja. So 233.33 meter is the length of the train. And this is the answer to this question. Now moving to next question. Now we'll try to be bit fast and take it as a real exam, the way it appears in the examination. So same way we'll try to be fast enough. Now I hope we have spent enough time on the basics. So question says Bhubaneswar Rajdhani Express crosses a platform of Bokaro station of length 600 meter in 20 seconds and platform of Kharagpur junction of length 1200 meters in 35 seconds. What is the length and speed of the train, assuming that train runs at constant speed? So here see, for Bokaro, what can we say? The platform length is, that is length of Bokaro, that distance it covers in 20 seconds. So this is the speed of the Bhubaneswar Rajdhani, and when it covers a length of Kharagpur junction at a in a 35 minutes, so this gives v2 and this gives v1. And since Bhubaneswar Rajdhani, the same train is running and it runs at constant speed, we can say that v1 is equal to v2. So now we can say that LB upon 20 is equal to Kharagpur platform length upon 35. So from sorry, uh, we have to find the length of the and the speed of the train. So first let us assume that length of train is equal to L. I'll erase this a bit. So now what happens at Bokaro? At Bokaro, if suppose this is the platform and this is the train which is coming, so what is the total distance covered by the train to cross the platform? So this rear end will be here, then it comes here, then it comes here. When it comes here, that is the train is in this position, then it is said that the platform has been covered by the train. So total length covered is from here, this is end, then again 600 meter. So rear end has traveled end distance plus 600 meter to arrive here, right? So total distance is nothing but n plus 600, and here in this case n plus 1200. So we can say here that n plus 600 and n plus 1200. So this basically becomes 35 by 20. So that is 7 is to 4. So either we can solve this question, or in the ratio terms, if we see the difference is what, 3. Difference is 3, and here the difference is 600. So 1 unit the difference is 200, right? 1 unit the difference is 200. Can we say no? If this is 7 unit, this is 4 unit, difference is 3 unit, and here the difference is n plus 200 minus n minus 600, that is 600. So 300 gives a difference of 6. So 1 unit gives a difference of 200. So now this is 7 unit. So 7 unit means 1400, right? So n plus 1200 is equal to 1400. So therefore n is equal to 200 meter. So I mean, basic thing is this is a linear equation which we need not even use pen paper. We can mentally solve and get the value of length of the train as 200 meters. Now what is the speed of the train? So these are the speeds, right? We have written here. So speed is nothing but n plus 600, which is 800 upon 20, right? So this becomes 40 meter per second. This is in meter, this is in second. If you want to convert this to kilometer per hour, we can do it by 40 into 18 by 5. This we have learnt, no? 18 by 5. How come? Meter, for meter we will substitute with kilometer by divided by 1000, and for second we will write 3600 in numerator. So this becomes 18 by 5. So 144 kilometer per hour. This is the answer to this question. Now question number 5. Two trains are running on a parallel lines in the same direction at a speed of 72 km per hour and 60 km per hour respectively. The faster train crosses a man in the second train in 2.5 minutes. So now see what happens. This is a train going here, and a man is sitting here on this train. And this is a slower train moving at a 60 km per hour. Now there is another train, faster train, right, which is covering or which is crossing this man sitting in the second train. So when will the cross happen? When the rear end crosses the man, right? So with respect to this man, or with respect to this train, we can say the slower train, we can say that crossing will happen when the faster train covers the distance which is equal to n1. That is, when the rear end travels a distance n1 and arrives here, then we'll say the crossing is successful or complete. So therefore, and now this is at 72 km per hour, this is 60 km per hour. So velocity of t1, that is train faster upon train slower. So velocity of faster train with respect to slower train, relative velocity becomes 72 minus 60, because they are moving in same direction. So 12 km per hour. And the time of crossing is given as 2.5 minutes, which is nothing but 150 second. And this we can write as 12 into 5 by 18, right, meter per second. So the distance is nothing but n1, and that is speed into time, and that speed is given as, relative speed is given as 12 into 5 by 18, and time is 150 second. So here 6 3 ja 6 2 ja 350. So length becomes 500 meters. Length become 500 meter. This is the answer to this question. So now we'll move to next problem, problem number 6. Here it is given that two trains are moving in opposite directions at uniform speed of 78 and 66 km per hour respectively. They take 25 seconds to cross each other, right? If the two trains had traveled in the same direction, then a passenger sitting in the moving faster moving train would have overtaken the train in 1.5 minutes. What are the length of the trains? So let us see here. Moving in opposite direction. We have seen in opposite direction what happens. Total distance covered will be n1 plus n2, right? This we have seen. So two trains moving in opposite direction at a speed of 78 and 66. This is 78, this is 66. They take 25 minutes to cross each other. So can we say that n1 plus n2 is nothing but sum of the speed, which is 78 plus 66. This is in kilometer per hour. We will convert to meter per second by 5 by 18 and multiply by 25. So this becomes 144 into 5 by 18 into 25. This goes 8 times. So this is 1000 meter, sum of the 1000 meter. Now in same direction. Second part of the question says कि if the two trains had traveled in the same direction, then a passenger sitting in the faster train, let this be a faster train, right? Suppose the passenger is sitting here. He would have overtaken a train, a slower moving train. So that is what a slower moving train is. Say suppose going in this fashion. This is a slower moving train in greening. So this is a slower moving train. So this passenger P would start overtaking at this point, and the overtake would be complete when the passenger when becomes here. That is position of train would be somewhere like this. So what is the distance which the with respect to the slower train, with respect to this train, slower train, what is the distance covered by the passenger sitting in faster train? Nothing but this. If this is N2, slower train is N2. That is N2 only, right? Here, see, earlier we had seen that in same direction also the distance is N1 plus N2, but that is when the full train overtakes the another train. Here the only this passenger, with we are looking at this in with respect to passenger. When will passenger overtake? Passenger will start overtaking here when the passenger reaches at the rear end of slower train, and the overtake will be complete when the passenger reaches the front of the slower train at this location. At this location. So what is this total distance here to here with respect to N2? That is nothing but the length of the train N2, right? So in this case, distance would be N2, and that is at a what is the relative motion with respect to N2 we are seeing. So faster train minus 66 slower train. So speed of faster train with respect to slower train is 78 minus 66, and it takes 1.5 minutes. So that becomes 90 seconds. 1.5 minutes means 90 seconds. So here we can say that, and further this is in kilometer per hour. So this will convert into meter per second by multiplying by 5 by 18. So this is 12 into 5 by 18 into 90. 18 5 is 90. So here it is 480, right? 5 into 5 25. So when it is 25, we can multiply by 4. 12 4 ja 480, right? So from here we get length of train 2 is 400. So what are the length of the trains? Length of two trains combined is 1000 meter. N2 is 480. So N1 is nothing but 520 meter. This is the answer to this question, right? Any calculation mistake? Let us see. Sorry, this calculation is wrong here. This is 5 into 20, 12 into 25. So that becomes 300 here. So here it is 300 meters. So this will be 1000 minus 300, which is 700 meters. So this is the correct answer, right? This is the correct answer. Now question number 7. So two trains pass each other on a parallel track. Each train is 100-meter long. When they are going in the same direction, the faster one takes 60 seconds to pass the other completely. Now see, here two trains are passing. This is a train T1. When they are going in same direction, and let us say this is train T2. So when, and this is of a, each one is 100-meter long. So let us say suppose N1, N2 variable. So crossover will happen when T1, say suppose T1 is a faster train, T1 covers a distance of N1 plus N2 with respect to T2. Then only the crossover will happen, right? And in opposite direction also, when opposite direction also, let's say this is T1 and here it is T2. So crossover will happen when the T1 covers N1 plus N2 distance. That is, rear end is here. Now when the rear end reaches here, then only the crossover will be successful. So that becomes this N1 length and this N2 length. Both the lengths combined with respect to T2. So then the crossover will happen, right? So that was a concept which we had seen. Now let us see here. Two trains pass each other on parallel line. Each train is 100-meter long. When they are going in the same direction, the faster one takes 60 seconds to pass the other completely. So that is, both are covering a distance together of N1, N2, which is 200 meter in 60 seconds. 60 seconds at a relative speed of, that is in same direction, so it will be v1 minus v2, right? v1 minus v2 into 60. Now when they are going in opposite direction, same direction, when opposite direction also, they will be covering N1 plus N2, that is 200, and that they are covering in just 10 seconds. So that becomes 10 seconds. But in opposite direction, the relative speed will be v1 plus v2. This we have seen. Opposite direction. So from here, can we say that what I mean? We can solve this equation. We solve this equation, we get that 6v1 minus 6v2 is equal to 20, and 6v1 plus 6v2 is equal to 120. We just solve this problem, nothing else. So from here we can get 12v1 is equal to 140. So that is v1 is equal to 140 upon 12, right? So v2 will be what? v2 will be v1 plus v2 is 20, right? v1 plus v2 will be 20. So this becomes, sorry, 12 to the 240 minus 140, this is 100. 100 by 12, which is nothing but 25 by 3. This is in meter per second. Everything is meter per second. So if we convert this to kilometer per hour, we will get this as 25 by 3 into in kilometer per hour 18 by 5. So this becomes 30 kilometer per hour. So find the speed of slower train. This is 30 kilometer per hour, right? So very simple problem. We straight away move to the next question. Here the question says that if Duronto Express left Dhanbad Fort Howrah 2 hours later, Rajdhani Express left Dhanbad for Howrah and arrived at Howrah at the same time as Duronto. Right? If the two trains left simultaneously from the opposite ends, Dhanbad and Howrah towards each other, they would meet 1.33 hours after the start. How much time did it take Duronto Express to travel from Dhanbad to Howrah? So let us see. So this is Dhanbad junction. This is Howrah junction. Right. So from Dhanbad, Duronto Express, Duronto leaves at set time t is equal to 0. Right. And Rajdhani leaves at time t is equal to 2, that is after 2 hours. But they both reach at the same time. So let the time taken by Duronto be td. So the time taken by Rajdhani will be nothing but what? Td minus 2. Right. Rajdhani is taking 2 hours less to reach there. Let us assume that velocity of Duronto is Vd and speed of Rajdhani is Vr. So it is Vd and Vr. Right. So we can say in the first case, when it is given that if the two trains left simultaneously from the opposite ends, Dhanbad and Howrah, towards each other, that is when they are moving towards each other, the relative velocity will be what? Vr plus Vd, relative velocity, into time they are taking is 1.33 hours, that is nothing but 4 by 3 hours. And this is the total distance between Dhanbad, right? So this distance they will cover at a speed of Vr plus Vd in 4.3. This is first thing. Then when they are moving in same direction, it is given that d upon Vd minus d upon Vr is equal to 2 hours. That difference is 2 hours. So this we can write as, taking d as common, Vr minus Vd is equal to 2 velocity of Rajdhani into velocity of Duronto, and d here we can substitute from equation 1, right? So from here we can say Vr plus Vd into Vr minus Vd into 4 by 3 is equal to 2 Vr into Vd. What we did, we simply replaced d with Vr plus Vd into 4 by 3. This gets cancelled here. So basically it becomes 2 Vr square minus 2 Vd square, and this becomes 3 Vr Vd. So this becomes 2 Vr square minus 3 Vr Vd minus 2 Vd square is equal to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. This we will solve here. 2 Vr square minus 4 Vr into Vd plus Vr into Vd minus 2 Vd square is equal to 0. This now we can write as 2 Vr minus 2 Vd plus, here we will common take Vd, it becomes Vr minus 2 Vd, so that becomes 0. So we can say Vr minus 2 Vd into 2 Vr plus Vd is equal to 0. So therefore this term cannot be 0, this cannot be not equal to 0, so this will be 0. So from here we can say that Vr is equal to 2 Vd. This is the relation which we have obtained, that is velocity of Rajdhani is 2 times the velocity of Duronto. So now we know that velocity of Rajdhani upon velocity of Duronto is 2 is to 1. So we can say that time of Rajdhani upon time of Duronto will be inversely proportional. So that will be 1 by 2, right? So that means here it shows that Duronto is taking 1 hours more. So if Duronto is 2 units, is time taken by Duronto is 2 units, then it is taking 1 hour more. But in actual it's taking 2 hours more. So here this time will be 4 units. So time taken by Duronto will be 4 hours. We can say so. I mean, we did not even solve the question, or we can solve also and with this. But simply we can say we know that Duronto is taking 2 hours more. and here it's only 1 hour more. So to make it 2 hours more, we'll multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. So this time taken by Duronto becomes 4 hours. This is the answer to this question. So not much of a concept here, just this quadratic calculation was the major part of this question. Otherwise, concept wise, nothing much here, right? Now moving to question number 9, it says that Jodhpur Express leaves Kota Junction station at 9 a.m. and travels at 80 km towards Savai Madhopur. So let this be Kota. A train is moving towards, let this be Kota Junction, and this is Savai Madhopur Junction. From Kota, Jodhpur Express, Jodhpur Express is moving at 80 km per hour and starts at 9 a.m. towards Savai Madhopur, situated 110 km. This is 110 km. At 9:30, Dwarka main leaves Savai Madhopur. So now what happens? At 9:30, here Dwarka main is leaving at a speed of 60 km per hour at 9:30 a.m. towards this direction. So this type of problem we have already seen. Now at 9:45 a.m., that is 15 minutes after Dwarka main has left Savai Madhopur for Kota, Mr. Amit Meena, the traffic controller at Kota, realizes that both the trains are running on the same track. How much time does he have to avert a head-on collision between the two? Right. So now see, at 9:45, he realizes, but the train from Kota, that is Jodhpur Express, had already left at 9 o'clock, and at 9:30, Savai Madhopur train had already left for Kota. So both the trains are on the way. So we will try to find, I'm going to see, can we use relative motion here for this Jodhpur? Because at 9 a.m. this train, uh, Dwarka main is not moving. So first we will try to equalize the time, equate the time. So let us see what happens at 9:30. At 9:30, this Jodhpur Express is here. Let us suppose this is at point uh, K. So this distance becomes what? In half an hour, this is 40 kilometers. So now the remaining distance is 70 kilometer, right? That is at 9:30 a.m. in half an hour, Jodhpur Express covers 40 kilometer. So now what happens? At 9:30 a.m., Jodhpur Express is moving towards Savai Madhopur, and at 9:30 a.m., Dwarka main is moving towards point K at 60 km per hour. So at 9:30, when use relative motion, velocity of Jodhpur with respect to Dwarka main is nothing but what? Moving in opposite direction. So here it will be 80 plus 60, which is 140 km per hour, and distance is 70, because we will see at 9:30, then only this relative motion will be useful. Otherwise, at 9 o'clock the relative motion is not 140. At 9 o'clock this is at a zero speed, right? So therefore it is 70 kilometer. So time will be what? 70 upon 140, which is 30 minutes. So 30 minutes after 9:30. So that is at 10 a.m. both the trains will collide. That is at 10 a.m. both trains would collide. However, at 9:45, Mr. Amit Meena realizes. So he has 15 minutes to avoid the train, right? So answer would be 10 minus 9:45, which is 15 minutes to avoid the accident. This is the answer to this question. Let us move to question number 10. Now see, here the question says Jodhpur Express leaves Kota station at 9 a.m., right, and travels at 80 km per hour. So here let us suppose that this is Kota, this is Savai Madhopur, and here Jodhpur Express at 80 km per hour at 9 a.m. leaves towards Savai Madhopur, and at Savai Madhopur, Dwarka Mail, running at a speed of 60 km per hour, leaves Savai Madhopur for Kota at 9:30 a.m. Right. So we have to find the time at which two trains end up crossing each other if Jodhpur Express is 800-meter long and Dwarka is 600-meter long. So this is given that this is 800-meter long and this is 600-meter long. This is given. So now see, when will the train cross? See, first meeting will be what? Meeting is when this train arrive here, and so suppose if this train arrive here and Dwarka may arrive here, so this becomes a meeting, right? But crossing will happen when Savai Madhopur, the rear end of Savai Madhopur, rear end of Jodhpur Express, and the rear end of Dwarka may meet. So this is crossing, and the first case is case of meeting, right? First case is case of meeting. So here find the time. So in the previous case we found the time for meeting, right? But here we will find the time for crossing, the time at which it will cross. So now what happens? For meeting, acha, first of all, I mean, we'll equate the time because time is not same here. It's 9 and so what happens at 11 a.m. Sorry, it's 9:30. At 9:30 a.m. At 9:30 a.m., the distance remaining would be 70 kilometers, right? Because in half an hour, this already 40-kilometer Jodhpur Express would have covered. So at 9:30 a.m. for meeting of two train, the distance covered will be 70 kilometer only. Distance to be covered 70 kilometer, but for crossing of two trains, it will be what? Distance to be covered by one train with respect to other will be 70 kilometer plus n1 plus n2, length of two trains, right? If suppose this is n1, this is n2, so it will be 70 plus n1 plus n2, right? Right. After meeting, it will be n1 plus n2. So that becomes here the length of two trains has been given, that is 800 plus 600, which is 1400, that is 1.4 kilometer. I can write, right? This is 71.4 kilometer. So time would be what? 71.4 upon relative speed, and since they are moving in opposite direction, relative speed will be 80 plus 70. So that becomes 71.4 upon 150. So if we 71.4 divided by 150, so this is even at 28.56 minutes. So that becomes 28 minute and 34 second. So after 9:30, this is the time, right? So this basically means the time would be 9:58:34. This should be the answer. Let us check the calculation whether it's correct. I just recheck the calculation. Sorry, here this will be, I think, 80 and 60 are the speed, no? Yeah, 80 and 60 kilometer per hour. So this will be 60. So this becomes 140. So this will be 30 minute and 36 second. So 30 minute 36 second after 9:30, right? After 9:30. So time will be 9:30 plus 30 minutes. So that becomes 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock and then 36 seconds. So at this time they will cross each other, right? This is the answer to this question. So question was simple enough. Only the concept of meeting and crossing we have to differentiate. Meeting is when the two front end of the train meet, but crossing happens when the rear end of the two trains cross each other, right? So that concept. But for the two rear ends of the two trains to cross each other, they need to cover a relative distance of n1 plus n2 with respect to each other, apart from the usual distance of 70 kilometer, right? Now we will move to question number 11. Here it says that Kasab escapes from Yerwada prison at 2 a.m. and runs in a car at a speed of 60 km per hour. The police realizes the escape at 4 a.m., right? And start the chase at a speed of 90 km per hour. At what time will the police catch Kasab? Further, at what distance from the prison is he caught? So this is an easy problem now. Uh, After having seen so many problems, see here. This is Yerwada jail, right? And let's suppose this is the catching position. So what happens? Kasab starts at 2 a.m., whereas police starts at 4 a.m., right? So in these 2 hours, from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., in 2 hours, Kasab would have moved at 60 km per hour, so that is 120 km already ahead. So when police starts the chase, suppose police is here, then by then Kasab is already here, right? So this distance is already 120 km. Now police is moving here in this direction at 90 km per hour, and Kasab here would be moving in this direction at 60 km per hour. So now this becomes a classic case of relative motion, wherein police have to cover distance of 120 km at a relative speed of police with respect to Kasab is 90 minus 60, which is 30. So the time taken will be 120 by 30, which is 4 hours, right? 4 hours after what? 4 hours after the police start the chase. Police starts at 4 a.m. So they will catch at 4 hours after 4 a.m. That is nothing but 8 a.m. in the morning, right? At what distance from the prison is he caught? So either we can now see police runs for 4 hours, 4 hours at 90 kilometer per hour, or Kasab runs for 8 hours at 60 kilometer per hours. Sorry, Kasab at 6 hours, 4 plus 2. So this becomes 360 kilometer. So basically after 360 kilometer, police catches Kasab. So this was fairly easy problem. Now we will move to question number 12. This is a decently good question. Let us see. Shipra Express of length 600 meter, traveling at a speed of 72 meter per second. I think this should be kilometer per hour, not meter per second. It's a correction. Otherwise, this will be a very high speed. And of so Shipra Express of length 600 meter, traveling at 72 kilometer per hour, and Jan Shatabdi Superfast of length 900 meters, traveling at a speed of 90 meter per second. No, this again will be kilometer per hour. Simultaneously arrive at the opposite ends of 3 kilometer long tunnel situated near Kodarma station. Both trains enter the tunnel from opposite ends simultaneously. Then find which train exits the tunnel first. Then what length of the other train is still in the tunnel at the time the other train exit the tunnel. And also find the distance between the point where the rear ends of the trains cross each other and point of entry of the slower train. The distance between the two. So let us see. Which one is the slower train? Shipra Express is a slower train and Jansatabdi is the faster one. So I will draw the diagram here. It's a very important. Let us see. This is the tunnel. Let us suppose this is the tunnel, right? So Shipra is approaching from this side. Shipra. Shipra, the length is 600 meter. Speed is 72 kilometer per hour. 72 kilometer per hour. Right. And at the same time, Jan Shatabdi, which is 900 meter long, at a speed of 90 kilometer per hour, enters here, right? And the tunnel is 3 kilometer long. Tunnel is 3 kilometer long. So we have to find which train exits the tunnel first. First part, A part. Which train exits the tunnel first? So which train exits the tunnel first? A part. So see, time taken by Shipra, time taken by Shipra to cross the tunnel is what? Distance upon speed. Distance is 3 kilometer, right? Or one thing we can do, we can convert the speed. Uh, we can convert the speed here. Velocity of Shipra is 72, right? So 72 into 5 by 18, that means 20 meter per second. That is velocity of Shipra, and velocity of Jan Shatabdi is nothing but that is 90 kilometer per hour. So 90 into 5 by 18, which is 25 meter per second. So now see, and this 3 kilometer is nothing but 3000 meters. So here it becomes 3000 meter upon time taken by Shipra to cross the tunnel, 3000 upon 20. So that is 150. No. Now see, when will Shipra cross tunnel? Shipra will cross tunnel when the rear end of Shipra gets out of tunnel. So now see, if Shipra is here starting to cross the tunnel, so this is the rear end. So what is the distance for the rear end to rear end is starting from this location and will get at this location so that the crossing is over. So total distance is 3 kilometer plus this length of train which is 600 meter. So total distance will be 3600 meters, right? So it will be 180 seconds. Then time taken by Jan Shatabdi would be what? Jan Shatabdi, say suppose is here, rear end is here. When will the crossing be successful? When the rear end reaches this location. So that is nothing but 3 kilometer plus 900 meters. So 3900 meters. 3900 meters at a speed of 25 meter per second. So this gives 4 times. So 4 9 36 3 4 3 156 second. So now see. and since they are entering simultaneously, which train is getting out earlier? That is Jansatabdi. Jansatabdi will get out in 156 seconds, whereas Shupra Express will get out of the tunnel after 180 seconds. So this is the answer to this first part. Which train exits the tunnel first? That is the Jansatabdi. Jansatabdi. Right. Now for B part. What length of the other train is still in the tunnel at the time other train exits the tunnel? So at the time other train, that is ship, when Jansatabdi is exiting tunnel, so that is the time is what? So basically question is what portion of Shipra is inside the tunnel at the time when Jansatabdi is exiting the tunnel. So that is nothing but we are talking about time t is equal to 156 second, right? That is the time when Jansatabdi is exiting. So what is the distance covered by Shipra? When distance covered by Shipra after 156 second will be nothing but 20 into 156. So that becomes what? 20 into 156 is nothing but 3120 meter. 3120 meter. So the rear end of the train is basically has covered 3120 after 150. So rear end of Shipra has covered 3120 meters in 156 seconds. So where is the rear end currently lying? So we can now find the position of rear end. Position of rear end of Shipra will be what? Total length is what? 600 plus 3000 meter, which is 3600 meter. Out of 3600 meter, 3120 it has covered. 3120 it has covered. So what is remaining? What is remaining? That is 480 meters. So from so out of the 600 meter length of the train, 480 meter is still inside the tunnel, right? 480 meter is still inside the tunnel. 120 meter of the train is outside the tunnel, right? Just try to understand the problem. What is it? Now see, actually we are trying to find the position of the train at end of 156 second. So at the end of 156 second, the front end of the Shipra Express would have gone out, right? See, after 156 second, the train would have covered, every point of the train would have covered 3120 meter. So after 3120, the front end from here it would have covered 3120. So that is outside 120 meter outside the tunnel. However, this rear end, which is at 600 meter behind, would have covered this 600 plus additional 2520, right? 2520 meter of the tunnel. So what remains is 480 meters inside the tunnel, right? 480 meters inside the tunnel. Now problem C. Also find the distance between the point where the rear ends of the train cross each other and the point of the entry of the slower train, right? So slower train enters here, right? So when trains cross each other, what is the time when the trains cross each other? That is, for the crossing to happen, the trains have to cover this distance of 3 kilometer first, and also their respective length. Then only the cross. When will the cross happen? When the rear end of Shipra crosses the rear end of Jansatabdi. So the train length of the train is 900 meter plus 600, which is 1500 meters, plus 3000 meter. So that means 4500 meter length they have to cover. So 4500 meter of relative distance they have to cover at a relative speed of what? 20 plus 25, which is 45 meter per second, right? This I expand here. 20 plus 25. So that is after 100 second, two trains will cross each other, right? After 100 second, two trains will cross each other. So now what is the position of the rear end of Shipra after 100 second? after 100 second will be nothing but 100 and speed of Shipra is 60, which is sorry 20 meter per second. So that is 2000 meter, 2000 meter from this location, right? 2000 meter from this location, so from this location, entry of the tunnel, what will we do? That is 2000 minus 6 length of the train. So that required distance from the start of the tunnel from this location will be 2000 minus length of Shipra, which is 600. That gives 1400 meter after this point. Let this be A. So 1400 meters from A, the two trains will cross each other. So this was the problem. Hope this was, I mean, see, concept was there, and this was a problem of a good difficulty level. So we only need to understand that with respect to train, what is the difference between the meeting of a train and a crossing of a train? Crossing will happen when both the back ends of the train, rear end of the train cross each other. And meeting happens when both the, I mean, in the opposite direction. And meeting happen when both the trains meet each other in the opposite direction, right? So that is the distinction which we need to be careful. Otherwise, if that is clear, then we just need to be careful about the position of the trains at different time stamps, and then from there we can get the answer, right? So three parts we have solved here, and answers to all the questions we have obtained. So here we end this session. We'll again meet in the next session on the relative speed for the trains only with respect to trains. So till then, hope this was clear enough. Thanks for watching this video.